Today, we want to talk about how EOS kind of interacts with sales and marketing and what EOS does for sales and marketing. To get started, I'll say that we really don't have a dedicated tool or discipline in EOS that really directly focuses on the internal workings of sales and marketing. We can recommend some really good resources out there to do that. Some Sales Acceleration is one that we really like, and Sandler Sales Coaching is another really great one. But what EOS does do is that, from the very beginning, and we stress that a company simply can't be successful, can't be great, if they don't put a dedicated focus on sales and marketing. We actually asked the question in the very first session with a client is what would happen if you had a company and they were just rock solid in operations and delivering that service, making that product, and they were rock solid in finance. They just really took care of the money, really had a great CFO, did a great job. But even though they were really great in those two areas, they didn't really focus on sales. Well, generally what's going to happen, you're going to have a bunch of really talented people standing around and waiting for something to happen, because if you don't have a great sales and marketing effort, you're not going to be bringing work into the company. One of the things we usually see when I start working with a smaller mid-sized company is that they don't have a dedicated sales manager in the sales seat. What they have is their visionary, usually the owner or the visionary. That's one of the things that they love to do. They, usually they're really big relationship type people, and they really take care of the customer, so they're sitting in that sales seat. And for a smaller company, that can work as long as that person really can give the company enough time and focus in that sales seat to do what they need to do to bring the work in. But what I'll do in that very first session, when we're seeing who's doing what in the company, is if I see the visionary also sitting in the sales seat, I put that on the issues list. That eventually at some point in the future, we're going to have to work on that. We're going to have to correct that, because as the company grows with EOS, that visionary seat is really going to start dominating what the visionary does, and he's going to start doing less and less and less work in the sales seat, and that's just not going to work. The company will stall out, hit a ceiling, and stop growth if we don't take care of that. So we just know that at some point in the future, the company's going to have to fill that sales seat with a dedicated sales manager. It's just going to happen at some point in the future. And so we don't really push the company as exactly when to do that, but we know it's going to happen. And usually I see within 6 months to a year, my company to have a dedicated person in the sales seat. Now, let me talk a little bit about what we need in that seat, because there's a big difference between having a great salesman and having a great sales manager. What we really need in the person running the sales organization is a person that can really manage those sales efforts. And you could be the best salesman in the world and not be all that great at managing the pipeline, managing the waterfall chart, really understanding how you take the company's P&L and growth plan for next year, and what does sales need to do in order to support that, and then what are the activities that are needed, and then parsing out those activities at each salesperson to make sure that you're really running a great sales department and getting everything done, getting those sales to come in. I can tell you one client I've got, and it's really been just fun to watch the evolution. They had a guy, he was their salesperson. Fortunately, he had the tools to make that transition to the sales manager seat. And when they were 20, 25 million, he was in that sales manager seat, and he was doing a lot of the stuff. He was doing the pipeline management. He bringing on an extra salesperson, then another extra salesperson, and defining the territories, doing all the things that sales managers do. But as that company has grown, and now they're in excess of 250 million, he's running a thriving sales organization, and he's got people running his pipeline and waterfall charts, running his forecasting. He's really got other people that are really helping all the salespeople do what they've got to do a great job. But that sales function is just one of the three most important seats in the company. But with that, I'm just going to say, when we run an EOS company, we really focus on make sure that you're doing a great job at sales. And if you need some help, we provide some resources that you can go to get that help. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.